be very brief. A few quick points. The lady at the back was concerned about our no vote being ignored. Actually, it wasn't ignored. There was shock and horror in the European Union, justifiably so, at the fact that we did vote no. There were celebrations among many of the ordinary people of Europe of the fact that we did hold up to the treaty. And we must do it again, and again, and again if we have to. Brian Cowan on RTE last week, I think, was asked on 3 occasions, what happens if there's a no vote again? Will there be a third Lisbon Treaty? 3 times he refused to answer. In other words, there will be a third time. But let's take it on the time. So that's the issue, and a fourth time if necessary. And let's say no each time, on our own behalf and on behalf of the people of Europe. On the legally binding guarantees, my understanding, and I must look into more detail, is that there are no legally binding guarantees. There are no protocols. For something to be legally binding, it must be attached to this as a protocol. It is not. It is a declaration by the heads of states, and only a promise of a declaration which is not legally binding. And that's quite an important point. Maybe the most important point was made by yourself when you refer to yourself as an ordinary Joe Soap. The ordinary Joe Soaps of this country are actually the sovereigns. And the only time we are sovereign is in a referendum. We don't have a king. We don't have a sovereign as such other than the ordinary citizens. And in many respects, that's the way it should be in Europe, but isn't. So you, Joe Soap, are the sovereign. And your sovereignty is being expressed on the 2nd of October. And please do it right. And finally, and again, for me, the most important point on the issue of neutrality and peace. The 1 million people I mentioned who have been killed in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and in Gaza include about 250,000 children killed by wars supported by us. And that is something we need to stop, because it's been done by NATO, the European Union, battle groups, all intertwined together. And don't let anybody separate the aids. NATO is not part of the EU. It is, in fact. 21 of the 27 existing states are full members of NATO. And the other 6, including ourselves, are up to our necks in NATO through Partnership for Peace and otherwise. So there is no divide, in fact. The European Union has no intention of creating an alternative to America or an alternative to NATO. They are joining in as an North-Atlantic European alliance against the rest of the world in order to exploit the rest of the world. But please remember the up to 250,000 children who have been killed in the last couple of years in unjustified wars. And that's partly what we must keep in mind. Thank you very much.